Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Phunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mahavidvishavahi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, already we have been discussing Maya, Avidya, then of course how this creation comes to an existence. So while talking all these things, so the purpose is, as you know, how to arrive at that I am Brahman. I am jumping here, okay? But the process goes very nicely systematically. So there we discussed the last point. Even though there is no difference between Hiranyagarbha and Tejas, it was our last class topic. But how come there is difference? So in short, when there is no difference between macrocosm and microcosm, but we understand that there is something called macrocosm and there is something called microcosm. So how is it possible? There we stopped it. Let us read verse number 25. Samashtirishah sarvesham swatmattādātmya vedanāt tadabhāvā tato netu kathyate vyashti sangyaya. Samashtirishah sarvesham swatmattādātmya vedanāt tadabhāvā tato netu kathyante vyashti sangyaya. This is beautifully. Now, samashtihi isha. If you look at this point very nicely, first let us look at isha. So isha means here Hiranyagarbha, not Ishvara. Because Ishvara, now by the virtue of being present in the subtle body is called Hiranyagarbha. So that's why we have to look at Isha means Hiranyagarbha. Sarvesham, Sarvesham means in all. All means what? All Tejas. That means in all small limited subtle bodies. Means subtle body is one and same. But in small gross bodies, individual gross bodies, there is subtle body. So that's why we can use this word that Hiranyagarbha. Now what happens? Now there is something with Hiranyagarbha, and what is that something? That also we need to see. That Hiranyagarbha is there called Swatma Tadatmya Vedanat. This is the beautiful word he uses. So when he says Swatma Tadatmya Vedanat means due to the knowledge of identity with oneself. So that means very clear that Hiranyagarbha is aware of the knowledge. Even though Hiranyagarbha is present in Sarvesha, in all Tejas, but because of, now we can see Hiranyagarbha due to the knowledge of identity of all the Tejas, of course with one's own self, is called as microcosm, samashti. It's exactly like, you can see for yourself. When we look at any organization also, or your family, starting with a family, So the one who is head of the family, how does that person look at? He is supposed to look at or see himself in every family member. Supposed to, okay? And when the person fails to himself or herself in every family member, family breaks. This is how the concept, nothing else. So here I would like to say this point. If this knowledge is not there of a person who is the head of the family, definitely we look at his or her own preferences first. Then everything is bargain, and of course that person will suffer in life. This is a very psychological analysis. Same thing also here with reference to Ishaha, the Hiranyagarbha. Now Hiranyagarbha, due to the knowledge of identity of all Tejas, even though looks at Tejas but sees that there is no difference between me and Tejas. And because knowledge is there, that's why it is called macrocosm. Suppose if knowledge is not there, then what will happen? Next he says, Tataha Anye tu tad abhavat vyashti sangyaya kathyante. Whereas, because of the lack of knowledge, automatically what happens? Now, those who are other than Hiranyagarbha, means they are called jivas, okay? Now, they are called as what? Microcosm. Totality, individuality. Now, when you look at this point, we can see that's a beautiful things goes very nicely. We say in the family concept we do talk this point. Like, because sometimes we have been taught wrongly. Always I use this word because of Britishers' attitude. That it is better to be, because in my childhood it was taught. That's why I recall it very well. It is better to be head of a cat rather than tail of a tiger. I don't know in India any of you have heard this sort of statement or not. It shows how insecure our parents or teachers were there. So always you struggle to become the head of a cat. Then finally what happens? You only get beaten up. At least if you are tail of a tiger, seeing the tail people will run away. You understand? You can relax. Just observe this very nice point to observe. This is called, Britishers' education, British education to all of us. Do you know what was our example those days? Our example was chariot and wheel. So in a family, the chariot and wheel concept is, if the wheel is part of a chariot, that wheel will be called as a chariot. Seeing that wheel, what people will say is a wheel, chariot. Whereas once the wheel comes out of the chariot, is no more a chariot, in fact only a wheel. But the chariot will continue as a chariot without wheels. Can you see this point? Even if there are no wheels, still chariot is lying down. What you will say? You will say chariot, you will never say, oh. So that means that the wheels are there or not. Chariot is a chariot. But If the wheels come out of the chariot, wheel doesn't have any standpoint. So that was the family concept we had, not necessary to be head. Better to be part of it. If you are out, you don't exist. Because this British way of thinking, they did it in such a way, divide and rule policy, create individual pockets like present day individual vote banks, caste vote banks. So create individuals and destroy them. So that's why we say very clearly, in a family system, whoever tries to, like the wheel, as the wheel comes out, is no more a chariot. Same thing also we try to say with reference to teacher and disciple. A disciple, as long as with the teacher, is part of it. But even if the disciple goes away, the teacher continues to be teacher. Can you see this point? Absolutely no problem. The teacher has to continue as a teacher. But when the disciple is there, part of the teacher, of course that disciple feels better and is better. But because of this British way of thinking, I am using carefully always British way of thinking, that we have developed that insecurity based thinking. I cannot say egocentric thinking, is a wrong word. Individualistic way of thinking. That is what is being highlighted here. From this point I stressed, when there is lack of knowledge, there the individualistic way of thinking predominates. You can see in your family, everywhere. I can tell now today. Earlier I was thinking, this is what we learn in life. You know, what is there to be in part of any ashram or organization? Very tough. Okay, prarabdha made me in some other way. Now when I look at myself, it is better to be part of organization than heading an organization. I'm telling you, this is my honest, experience. See, when I was part of the organization, I'm not telling you jokes. Just I'm diverting a little bit, okay? So when I was part of the organization in Chennai, I was having galata. Galata means a good time. With some of my, not friends, they are students come friends, let us say. Like all these tough fellows. Okay, now one is no more. Like there are some people now still, one is alive. To meet them is very tough. Those days. Now also, okay, must be very old. But spending time with them, I am sorry to say because it should be off record. We used to explore, of course, different clubs to swim because swimming was secondary. After swimming, good breakfast, okay? You cannot think of, okay? But once you become head, I'm sorry, you can't do anything. Because you have to maintain your image, you understand? Coming back. Apart from prarabdha and all these things, the main point is, here I would like to highlight, that knowledge and without knowledge, that makes a big difference, and in fact that creates the division. You can see for yourself whatever object you have. With knowledge you use the object, without knowledge you use the object. There is a big difference or not? From the using standpoint, from attachment, from dealing, handling, for all the aspects. Imagine when a minimum thing called ordinary knowledge or external knowledge influences a lot with reference to using or looking at or dealing object, what to talk of me, myself? Because I have to process the knowledge through my antakarana. Remember this point. Where antakarana is the reflecting medium. That is the tajas, in short, is the reflecting medium. So being that as a reflecting medium, and if I am not aware of that reflecting medium, then what will happen? Like holding a convex mirror, I start complaining, this face looks funny. You understand? It is not face looks funny. Hey, you are holding a wrong type of mirror. Nowadays we have apps, okay, to change all the faces and everything, okay. However, coming back to the point here. Now, because of this knowledge, there is individuality, there is totality. Lack of knowledge, individuality. With knowledge, totality. Okay, I understand all these things, whatever you are saying. But what you are going to arrive at, yes, better you should know. Because how this individuality is being taken. Now he brings the Panchikarana. That we have seen in Tattvabodha, but he puts it very nicely. So Panchikarana means grossification. So how this grossification happens? Because first of all we need to understand this very carefully. Please understand that the Ishvara will see, in fact the verse will come. Verse will come, 1 minute, just. Yeah, it is there. It is going to come. But still, let me bring it. Now, if you look at Ishvara creates this creation. But remember, as it is not ordered by Ishvara, as it is ordered by the jiva, the individual. I am changing it very carefully. It's a mind-blowing concept I am trying to highlight. The Ishvara creates this creation. We say, oh, creates creation by his order. No, I am changing it a little bit here. Not by the order of the Ishvara, but by the order of the jiva. How? According to the blueprint of their karma phala. Because if Ishvara creates by his order, then he will have power to change or not. Like politicians create law and divert it. So every law has got its what? Interpretation, like constitution, amendment. Including religious scriptures also there is amendment. Testaments, New Testaments. So Ishvara also cannot order. Can you see this? The creation that is being created by Ishvara, it is not by his order. We have been listening to it all the time, that is by his order. No. It is by the order of the jiva in keeping with the blueprint of their karma phala. Can you see this point? This is the most important aspect. If you don't bring this blueprint of karma phala, everything will go other way around. Or else we all will be under the mercy of Ishvara. And Ishvara will become another uncle. Can you see this point? Like any religious people highlight. So he can give, he can snatch away, he can do whatever he wants. Ishvara cannot do it because he doesn't have. That's why we say very carefully, because of my blueprint, this is the most important aspect. Because of the blueprint that is being created in keeping with my karma phala means my previous life karma phalas. Now, the people that I come across, the body that I am having, including mental affliction that I go through, is related to my prarabdha. Please, this is most important point to understand, or else everybody will go crazy in life. Not only because all of you first are sure and aware of it, I know, many times I have talked. The physical disease that we all have, it is because of our prarabdha. There is no doubt in it. Except cold and cough, okay? So, which comes immediately, okay? Don't attribute to that also, okay? Especially long term, that which prolongs, and that too in spite of putting effort. So also the mental affliction that you go through, it is not because of your this life karma, it is again related to your prarabdha. Because prarabdha plays a big role in life. That's why more you understand and accept prarabdha, more you will be able to handle yourself. In fact, when a person goes through depression, if you ask me personally, it is related to prarabdha. I cannot say that depression is related to purushartha. If it is related to purushartha, now whoever is depressed tries level best to come out, but many of them are not able to come out. And suddenly something happens, they come out without putting effort. How to explain? So we need to look at all these angles very carefully, that how the prarabdha plays bigger role in our life. In fact, the life itself is prarabdha, not bigger role. I am sorry to use this word, okay? The life itself is prarabdha. So that means what happens in life, this is what learning. In life, we don't fight, we don't resist. The whole problem with all of us, including me, I had this moment, that we fight, we resist. Can you see this point? The more we fight or resist, the more we complicate our life. That's why when this happens, now let us look at why this Panchikarana, that point is being taught very nicely. Please read. Tat bhogaya punarbhogya bhogaya tana janmane panchikaroti bhagavan pratyekam vyadhadikam tat bhogaya punarbhogya bhogaya tana janmane panchikaroti bhagavan pratyekam vyadhadikam. Nicely being taught this point here, that Bhagavan Ishvara. And who is Bhagavan? That also we need to understand. See, God, Lord, all these things doesn't communicate much. We have the word Bhagavan very nicely. There are two verses goes Bhagavan. Aishwaryasya samagrasya dharmasya yasasa sriya. We will share this thing in tomorrow. You will get in the Subhasitani. Okay? Vairagyasya atha mokshasya shanam bhagaiti rana. So that means there are 6 things called as bhaga, means attributes. So the one who is endowed with these 6 attributes is called Bhagavan, Ishvaraha. And what are they? One is overlordship. Okay? That Aishwarya, overlordship. Second one is called Dharma. Dharma means you have excellent punya. Dharma is converted to punyam. That means no mental affliction, no body pain, nothing. You understand? If you have back pain, you cannot become Bhagavan, okay? Because always you will hold. What is Bhagavan? Back is Bhagavan, okay? Because each one says, what is Bhagavan? According to their way. You understand? Somebody says Bhagavan is dark, somebody says Bhagavan is red, somebody says Bhagavan is a child, somebody says Bhagavan is old. You understand? And somebody says, didn't see anything, Bhagavan is nowhere. However, coming back to the point, that overlordship, punya, dharma, then comes yasha. Yasha means fame. And Shriya. Shriya means wealth. Vairagya, dispassion, moksha, liberation, freedom. Then you can say, Swamiji, in fact I am having everything. So what is the big deal in it? Especially when I am tired of people, I want to be free. And of course, after eating so much food, I am really fed up of, I have vairagyam, dispassion for that food. Of course, I have some wealth. If nothing is there, my body itself is very wealthy. Because if I sell one lungs, one kidney, one part of the body, I get so much money. The wealth is there. Forget about other things. Fame, of course, if I give something to somebody, some fame will come. Or else at least in front of my dog, I am a very famous person. And of course, punya, of course, because there is some punya, that's why I can understand what you are talking. Then going back, overlordship, of course, overlordship is there. If nothing is there, I can go and hit my vehicle or whatever I feel like. Don't you think that there is overlordship? Hey, I have everything. So, do you think that I am Lord? I am Bhagavan here? Hey, one word is missing. Please understand. He just says, Aishwaryasya samagrasya. The word samagra is being used. So that means what? When you just samagrasya, that means this word samagra in absolute measure. So you need to have overlordship in absolute measure, punya in absolute measure, fame absolute measure, wealth absolute measure, dispassion absolute measure, and of course liberation absolute measure. Can you see this point? If it fluctuates, that means your Bhagavan hood, you understand hood, vanishes. So somebody will come and take over the Bhagavan hood, you understand? So that becomes a post. That is what happens. Like when a politician becomes, president, now if you are not able to maintain, the next person comes, whoever has got more fame, more accepted and whatnot, more wealth, now takes over. You understand? Automatically, overlordship also becomes stronger. But here we are talking in absolute sense. But another point, this is not sufficient. Oh, you mean that Bhagavan is all about to show off? Whatever the expression you gave is all about just to show off, nothing else. Hey, hold on. There is another definition on Bhagavan, okay? And what is that? Utpattim pralayam chaiva, related to knowledge. Utpattim pralayam chaiva, bhūtānāṁ āgatim gatim. Vyakti vidyam avidyam cha, savacho Bhagavan iti. Beautiful point says. Utpattim pralayam chaiva, bhūtānāṁ gatim, bhūtānāṁ āgatim gatim, vyaktim vidyam avidyam cha, savacho Bhagavan iti. So that means what? That person is called Bhagavan, who Vyakti, who knows. What does he know? He knows Utpattim Pralayam. That means origin of the creation and end of the creation. He cannot bluff, okay? He has to know the origin of this creation, because this is what we will understand later on, we will talk. That's why he gives the link. And also end of this creation. Not only that, bhūtānāṁ āgatim gatim, birth and death of being. All the living being death. Because when I myself do not know when I am going to die, how can I claim that I am a Bhagavan? When I am in the mercy of somebody's hand, how can I claim that I am a Bhagavan? Like the story goes about this astrologer. So there was a great astrologer in the night, was moving, counting the stars, and suddenly fell down on an abandoned well. And of course shouted. One old lady somehow heard and came, hey, what is this? Then saw, somehow with great difficulties, this old lady managed to rescue this astrologer. And that astrologer so happy, pleased, said, look, do you know who am I? The old lady said, I don't know. Neither I want to know. I know only this much, that you are fell down. I had to rescue, that's all. No. I am the best astrologer in this kingdom. In fact, I am astrologer to the king. People to see me, they have to spend lot of money, lot of things. Now I am pleased because you have rescued me. Now I am ready to do a favor. I would like to tell about your future. Please ask me any other thing you want. I am ready to talk. That time this old lady smiled and said, hey, look, you are claiming that you are a great astrologer. That too with the king. I think as you are, so also this king. No doubt in it. Because when you yourself did not know about your future, fell down on a well, inside the well, that abandoned well, and waited for my help, and you think that you will be able to predict my future. Enough. Please keep it with you. So also, when I am not aware of my death, when I am going to die, and I claim that I am God, because in India there are many gods, that's why I am trying to bring this concept, okay, nothing else, okay? So everybody is God, okay? So that's why a God, here Ishwaraha, Bhagavan, that's a better word, has to know what? Bhūtānāṁ āgatim gatim. So that means death and birth of beings. And most important thing is Vidyam avidyam cha vedya. The one who has knowledge, means knows what is knowledge, also knows what is ignorance at any given moment. Because we know what is knowledge, but we do not know what is ignorance. That's avidya. Aham kimapi na janami. What is ignorance? What is the deep sleep statement? I did not know anything. You understand? Conveniently you say, I did not know anything. How did you know that you did not know anything? Don't ask. So the one who knows everything is called Bhagavan. So now here he says, with this point, Ishwaraha, Bhagavan, what did he does? Punaha tad bhogaya. This is the most important word. For their experience. Now we have to understand why. Tad bhogaya. This is the point. Now for the experience. Because now this is tejas. To experience needs external object. Unless you have a body, because sense organs, everything is there, no doubt in it. Already sense organs have been created already, okay? There is no problem. But if there is no sense object, so what will happen to sense organs? That's why we say beautifully, especially ghost life. When a person becomes ghost, when it's departed, unresolved thoughts, who becomes ghost? Because when your thoughts have not been addressed, very deep, strong thought. For example, let us say you have a child. I have seen few cases, that's why I bring this point. Suppose you have a child and somehow something happens, one lady case happened, And one boy child was, a girl child was there, and she died. And always she was protecting that girl child. It's amazing. And will hover till she feels that this girl child is being protected. In fact, I could not keep the track of it. Later on, I tried my best to trace it, but I could not talk to the person directly. Indirectly, I got to know. The day she got married, after that, the mother was no more. So, let me not get into in details. That the thought that is very strong in you, if with that strong thought this body passes away or collapses or falls down, till that thought is addressed or resolved some way or other, that jiva will hovering, and that is called ghost. And one of the most painful, why I said this point, because we'll be able to see, we'll be able to see but cannot experience. Like they say beautifully, that you will have hunger, you will be able to see the food, but you cannot eat. It's exactly physically when you have worries and anxieties. Can you see this point? When you have some worries and anxieties, what happens to you? Food will be there, hunger also will be there, but will you be able to eat? Definitely not. Because the worries and anxieties have taken over in spite of availability of gross food. And gross body also demands. Same thing, imagine with reference to what happens to ghost. Let us not get into this more. So here it says, tad bhogaya, this is the most important aspect. For their experiences. Bhogya bhogayatanam janmane, for the creation of sense object and gross embodiments. Now how it happens? Of course it has to create from what? Vyadadikam, from this 5 elements starting with space. And how it does? Says beautifully, pratyekam panchikaroti. Now each one of them is being grossified, goes through a process called grossification, where they do divide themselves, and later on there is mutual combination, which we have seen in details in Tattva, but we will be seeing, don't worry. Okay, all this fantastic, but how it divides, how it mutually it starts joining, will you please highlight a little bit? Next verse. Dvidha vidhaya chaikekam caturthā prathamam punah swasvetaradditiyasvi yojanat pancha pañcate. Dvidha vidhaya chaikekam caturthā prathamam punah swasvetaradditiyasvi yojanat pancha pañcate. Beautiful way of looking at it. Says first, ekekam vyadadikam dvidha vidhaya. So each one of them, starting with space, then air, fire, water and earth. Dvidha vidhaya. So they get into split into 2 parts. They are divided into 2 parts. Punah, again, cha prathamam, the first half, because first out of, let us say, 100%, 50-50. From that 50% prathamam, chaturdha vidhaya. Again that 50% gets divided into 4, means 12 and, yeah, exactly, 12 and a half, which we have explained, A1, A2, A3, A4, long back in Tattva Bodha. So therefore, your memory or notebook or whatever you have. Now what happens? Now again, with 150%, other 4 starts joining. Like if we call what is space, the gross space, this is called space, that is 50% space, 12.5 air, 12.5 fire, 12.5 water, and 12.5 earth. So put together, that is called space. So also what we call as air, 50% air, 12.5% space, 12.5 comes fire, 12.5 water, and 12.5 earth. I hope you understand the concept. So that is what is being highlighted, how this grossification happens. Because this also we need to understand very carefully, that this grossification, when it happens, actually there is a lot of confusion with reference to this grossification concept. Some of the acharyas, of course not related to Advaita, like other schools of philosophies, you can say other schools, not philosophy, other schools, they do talk that, just information sake I am giving you, okay, nothing else, that Panchikarana, this grossification, is not part of Vedic teaching. This prakriya, this methodology of teaching, was introduced by Adi Shankaracharya. That is what many do talk. Not some of them do talk, not many, some of them, but technically is wrong. There are Upanishads do highlight, including we'll be seeing Prashnopanishad sometime, do highlight about Panchikarana. And of course in Brahma Sutra there is one particular sutra dedicated for this. So that means we cannot say that Panchikarana, the methodology of Panchikarana, is being introduced by Adi Shankara. Technically wrong, just information sake. So okay, I understand all these things. Now, how this gross creation comes? Okay, we understood elements came. Now from Pancha tanmātrāṇāṁ, from subtle elements, gross elements have come. Okay, we understand. Perfect. Now after this, will you please tell us how this gross creation comes? That we are interested in, okay? So I am more interested in this gross creation. Will you please tell? Let us read. Tairandastatra bhuvanam bhogya bhogasrayodbhavah hiranyagarbhastulesmin dehe vaishvanaro bhavet taijasa vishwatam yata devatiriyam naradayah. Tairandastatra bhuvanam bhogya bhogasrayodbhavah hiranyagarbhastulesmin dehe vaishvanaro bhavet taijasa vishwatam yata devatiriyam naradayah. Okay, in your book this number might be different, okay, because here number differs, because if we take it according to the topic wise, so it is better to take 3 lines together if you want to highlight topic, or else 2 lines, then number will differ. However, says now teihi. So teihi means by those, by what? This gross elements. So the gross elements becomes the material cause. We have to be very careful. They are using the word as material cause, because efficient cause is God, or else we'll get into, other schools of philosophy. Vaisehika. Okay, from this creation, like including a different religion, first day it happened, second day happened, third day happened, or Darwin theory. That's the best example, okay. So after all, evolution. Now coming to the point. So here the gross elements becomes the material cause. And for this what happens is taihi andaha. So andaha means miniature form of universe. So beautiful point is being taught. So that means we believe that universe is very vast. So it is being taught now a miniature form of this universe. And what is that? He says, Utpadyate, okay, so from this now, from these 5 elements, gross elements as material cause, a miniature form of universe is being created. And what is that? He says beautifully, Tatra, what happens? We have Bhuvanam. So Bhuvanam means, when he says Bhuvanam, we say Bhuvanam means locus. So from these elements, the miniature form is called Bhuvanam locus. And how many locus? We have 14 locus. And remember, we are talking about 14 locus in a very miniature form. God knows how many are there, okay? And what are they? As you know better. So one is that always we chant that Bhuvaha, Bhuvaha, Swaha, Janaha, Maha, Tapaha, Satyam. Okay? That is how we chant. And these are in the order. Bhu is this Prithvi. Bhuvaha, Swaha, Janaha, Maha, Tapaha, finally Satyam. From this earth, 6 eva. These are called 7. Not enough, down below also 7 are there. So what we call as Attala, Vittala, Suttala, Talatala, Rasatala, Mahatala. Okay, don't get into there are 7 layers, okay? Down. So in short, what it wants to highlight is the creation or the universe is so vast. It is not about only this earth or this solar system, but many more than that, number one. Number two, also it highlights that based on your prarabdha, karma phala, not prarabdha, karma phala, now you are born in that loka to experience. So wherever you are put, including, you can say forget or loka, wherever you are born, it is based on your karma phala. That's why you cannot condemn yourself. It is not possible. So that's why. So what is to be done? Says beautifully. Now let us look at. Then from there what happens? Now when the sense objects and gross things happens, bhoga bhoga srayodbhavaha, bhogya bhoga srayodbhavaha. Now this birth of sense object and gross embodiments happens. Then he says, including asmin sthūladehe, in this gross body also that we are holding. In this also what happens? Hiranyagarbha, the Hiranyagarbha is abiding in the form of what? This is the link gives. In the form of Vaishvanara. That's why while having food we chant what? Aham Vaishvanaro bhutva praninam deham ashritaha. That is the link. So in the form of Vaishvanara, Jaఠaragni, the digestive fire, the Hiranyagarbha resides. That's why the stronger the digestive fire, the energetic you are. That's why we have a beautiful saying, Agastya Rishi was able to digest his wrongly taught story part, because there was called Atapi Batapi, demons. They used to destroy people. They never allow anybody. And what they used to do, they will kill one, like Atapi will be killed, and they will make the curry out of the body and feed the person. Very nicely say, please come, we are going to serve food. Then they serve. Then finally what happens, once his food is inside, the other fellow says, Atapi will say, Atapi, come out. So all these things come together because they had that power. Then it will burst. Then they will kill and they will enjoy their life. So it was so painful, they did not know how to kill them. They tried all the methods, but nothing worked. Then everybody went to Agastya Rishi. You have to rescue us. There is no choice. As usual, I say, okay. And he went. This is the best part of it. The story is misinterpreted. Oh, he ate meat. He did not eat meat, okay? He could digest meat, that you should say. So, food was served. After food was served, what he did? He said, Atapi jirno bhava. Means, may you get digested. Oh, Atapi, may you get digested. This Batapi started calling, Atapi, come out. But already he is digested. And the curse was there. As long as both are together, they will be alive. If one is dead, other will be dead. That is how other one died. So, this story actually communicates nothing, but the Jatragni, the Vaishwanar Agni, is so strong in sadhakas, in siddhas cases. Because only when Jatragni is strong, you can deliver something to the society. That's why, whenever possible, try to do Kapalabhati, Agnisara, Nauli and everything. Okay? To make sure your Jatragni is stronger. In fact, the moment your energy goes down, Jatragni becomes weaker. In fact, because Jatragni becomes weaker, that's why your own energy goes down. That's why to make sure that your Jatragni has to be strong and try to maintain it. However, coming back to the point, so Vaishwanaraha Bhavet. Then what happens? So also, now Taijasa Vishwatam Yataha. Then what happens? Now Hiranyagarbha, abiding in this gross body, not only becomes Vaishwanara, similarly, when this Taijas attaining this body called as Vishwa, we have seen in Tattva Bodha, Vishwa and Virat. So Taijas is called Vishwa in this body, and the Hiranyagarbha, being subtle body, becomes Vaishwanara. And that is how, what happens? All these deities, animals, human beings, all different type of beings are being created. So in short, if we look at that, when from these 5 gross elements, through the grossification, all these things happens, it is just to experience, nothing else. Now, in order to experience, again experience happens based on your prarabdha, your karma phala. That's why many times you have everything, but you cannot enjoy. Best example is, in front of you food is there, but you cannot eat. So all these things put together, why all these things happens? Of course, we'll be seeing tomorrow. Please close your eyes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.